How you doing? I'm Antoine. I'm the oldest of the Adams clan. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and we're extremely close. We had to be close. Our parents' relationship would get super rocky at times, but I learned a lot from that relationship. My father was an abusive alcoholic a third of the time. 2/3 of the time, he was the most amazing dad I could ever have. He cooked great meals. He would cook great meals with very little, and he taught me how to cook, and he wasn't ashamed of being a man that know how to cook. He was super funny, cracking dark jokes. I'm gonna eat your head off, while he grabbed us and hugged us tight, and he was the best tickler ever invented. I felt like he knew everybody, and he was very clever how he carried himself. But when he wasn't that great dad, he was a mean drunk to me and my mother. Often accusing her of infidelities, he would beat her up. Not in front of us kids, but we all knew when it was coming and when it happened. And I often received excessive punishments, butt whoopings, and punching me for things a stern talking to would have sufficed. And at an early age, I recognized he was sick and he was weak. I told myself if I had the opportunity, I would kill him. So in a way, he was lucky. He left our family. He skipped out on us when I was 9 years old. Now let me tell you about my mother. I love my mother. She's a gentle and nurturing woman, and she also is tough and resilient. Many situations in her life led her to adopt these qualities for protecting her and her children. She is very creative. She is a very creative woman that enjoys all kinds of activities. Who taught me how to shoot dice? My mother. Who taught me how to cook eggs on low heat? My mother. Who gave me the good old birds and the bees? My mother. Who showed me that it was okay to cry? My mother. My mother has a strength and endurance that still amaze me, raising 8 kids on her own. She got herself off of drugs and survived an abusive relationship. She encouraged me to question gender norms, question love, question religion, and life itself. But she knew that me questioning these things could jeopardize my safety. Boys sometimes get beat up for questioning gender norms where I'm from. She knew that this idea of how boys supposed to act could do to a person like me. She knew that if I feel mistreated or just sad, that this would definitely get me teased or bullied. I wonder now, as a man, how scared she was for me. Hey, sissy draw. Hey, sissy boy, why you drawing hearts? Hey, sissy boy, why you crying? Why you cry, baby? You a sissy mama's boy. Why you sucking your thumb? I had long hair, loved to play with. I had long hair some girls love to play with, and I was born on Valentine's Day, so of course I make hearts. I sucked my thumb because it calmed me. I love to sing love songs. I love to cry at sad moments in movies. These things made me receive a lot of bullying and teasing as a kid and a teen. I found myself in groups that was outcast for not fitting in to assume masculine roles. I came to feel that I couldn't be the real me, that I could easily be mocked, teased, or bullied if the wrong Antoine comes out. I'm ashamed myself. I'm ashamed that I myself have joined in with other boys, bullying, boys and girls, calling them dumb, stupid, and retarded. I knew it was wrong, but I was too weak and scared to do what was right. I wasn't able to remember the feelings matter, the victim's feelings matter as much as mine, to realize that this was in similar ways as my mother and my situation with my father. But I realized I was making others feel, and I knew I had to change. Because who watches their mom get beat up and continue and turn around and mistreat others? Me. I realized this and I had to change myself. I didn't want to become that part of my father inside of me. I wanted to be able to be myself and allow others to do so without the possibility of teasing and bullying. I remember a couple stories. One time in 4th grade, I saw some of the older boys tormenting this boy who wasn't afraid to talk, walk, and dress the way he wanted to. The other boys ganged up on him and took him and started pulling off his clothes in the park. People started gathering around and watching and laughing. I remember his mom coming and saving him from a group of boys, but I still felt ashamed that even though I was younger, I didn't do anything. And sometimes myself, I was the one who doing it to other boys. I was one of the little boys littlest guys in my grade, but there was a boy a little smaller than me. I remember once the boys were hitting him, and I chose to join in and hit him. It felt terrible. I felt terrible about myself, but I still did it. I wanted to gain acceptance from the other boys, and it was sort of a pecking order, so if I knew I did it to him, I would make myself safe from getting it from the other boys. Some of these things I didn't like that I got from my dad, I realized were inside of me, and I was doing it to others. I decided that I had to change, and I wasn't perfect. I still tease other guys sometimes, but I started to change. Now, I'm a stay-at-home dad to 2 boys and 1 girl. Being a stay-at-home dad has never been seen as masculine in society, while society finds it perfectly acceptable for women to stay at home to raise children. Only weak men do this role. This is, for a while, made me feel as I wasn't man enough for my own family and wife. I realize now that this thinking is poison to me and her. We had many arguments. My insecurities about not making more money or providing for the family would lead me to be stubborn. I wouldn't talk to my wife for days. We would make arrangements. I wouldn't stick to them. I wanted things to be my way or the highway. And I would blame her since she's white and we're middle class, but I didn't always look at how my insecurities and my own manhood also caused our arguments. Eventually, through lots of conversation and struggle, I realized that embracing this role of stay-at-home parent allowed my wife to achieve her goals. I found that letting go of the resentment I had to understand the stay-at-home parent role even more. This role is not weak work. This work requires all kinds of skills that I have. Skills like strength, patience, and endurance that my mom instilled in me. I believe a stay-at-home parent helped me get some of my humanity back, and I can express all sides of myself. This means I'm capable of crying during teaching moments with my children and also being stern when need to. I want to acknowledge and take responsibility for the fact that I can sometimes be verbally abusive to my family and my friends. But I am a work in progress, and I'm committed to change this. Some things I learned in my journey. Women are often forced to hear and consider ideas from men. Men often input their patriarchal views on women and girls without an invitation. I think this is wrong. Men often insert their opinion and use their muscles as a weapon towards women. I think this is wrong. Often men hold back their real emotions from women and also other men in fear of being judged, mocked, or bullied. I think this is wrong. Often men don't challenge other men, relatives, and friends on how we raise our children, allowing boys to inherit aggressive, stubborn, dominant ways. I think this is wrong. I believe most men don't want to be boxed in these roles, but it's what we learn from other older guys, and we often don't know another way or how to even find another way to change. I know I have some of my mother's qualities, good and bad. I got her compassion and her sensitivity. I also have some of my father's qualities, both good and bad. I can be verbally abusive at times, but I got this great sense of humor, and I'm a great tickler to my children and my nieces and nephews. Challenging myself to realize that my wife and children and some of my friends didn't have the experiences I had. The violence, the abuse, and the bullying has helped me think about masculinity. I realize in some of my ways I treat people is harsh, and it is formed from dark times in my life. And I'm aware of that, and I need to keep growing. I want to take what I learned from my mother and father and have a better partnership with my wife and my family, empowering my kids to know that they can think and feel what they want to, and I will encourage that. Thank you.